This makes a lot of sense because Jhin can follow up very safely, away from the Aurora, away from the Skarner. And Rakan is what they're going to opt for.
I'm actually kind of okay with the Rakan. I think there's a little bit more lane presence, I guess, into something like a ranged support, but that's not what Kerry is going to do. He's going to make Rakan's life as awful as possible by picking the Poppy, and knows that there is absolutely no threat, right? Jhin Rakan not going to be doing a whole lot in the early stages of the lane, and Varus can kind of stand his own regardless.
I really would have liked to see the Rel here more. You ban the Alistar, it sets up the Equalizer, it sets up the Yone ult so well, and with Poppy available, you needed to, I think, ban that if you really wanted to put Palu on this Rakan, because the Poppy shuts it down so hard, and it's so squishy into a comp that can just blow up the Rakan if it's ever seen on a flank.
And that's going to need to stick around if Bro are going to win this game number 1. Let's get into it. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1. We'll see who's going to be able to walk away with the victory. Will the Giga Chads be able to topple the Titans? That is the question. They do at least have Blue Side. Blue Side has been very powerful here, but as we can see, the resulting draft...
I like the idea of trying to force out this steadfast presence, but now Skarner's coming down.
Yeah, Rogue Charge not quite going to land as far as the stun is concerned, but now we're looking for a crab as there's the flash in from Palu. Deadly Flourish comes down as well as GUMAYUSI, able to at least use the cleanse, but it doesn't do anything. That's going to be first blood going over to Palu as the Bros strike first.
They even resurgence that needs to continue, and so far it is.
Yeah, Faker spots out Humbug as he moves his way over, but it is going to be Dragon spawning first. T1 with a lot of vision control, but Palu able to move in towards Faker here, the flash as that continues. So the laning phase isn't quite as impactful as the amount of just raw damage he does from mid to late. And that's what Victor has always been kind of known for. The one big question mark here is Doran playing Aurora. And I was a bit curious, right? Because Aurora doesn't feel like it. He has played it one time in his career, and it was a win.
Do you know who he played it against?
No.
Okay.
But I can theoretically find out.
I was just curious if there was any additional context there. But I also don't associate him with the pick as Hype gets his full shot here.
Yeah, it's going to be working out. But you can see GUMAYUSI also down relatively low.
He has to hit this.
All right, Palu going to be diving in. Carrier turns up, and that is going to nullify the aggression.
Hype had barriers, so continuing that further without any help would have been potentially a big mistake from Guma, but Carrier was coming over.
Not really a thing that we care about at all. Yeah, it's a tough one. As Ona, he's looking to make his way in. Hype and Palu moving pretty far up here as Chains of Corruption going to lock down this Rakan. He's able to grant entrance, though, and that gets him to safety. So they press a lot of buttons. They do get a flash out of Hype.
Where they have all their control and where they were playing around Owner's Jungles. Here comes Carrier.
Not going to quite find the target, and it's GUMAYUSI that's turned on here. Chains of Corruption are fantastic, though, as Hype just getting melted by this Varus. And Palu can't actually get in there to get the damage done. Faker turns up just to save his AD carry, and Closer not going to be able to do anything because there are 4 members of T1 in this bottom lane. The Impale and the Yone is delivered on a silver platter to this Varus.
It looked so good at the outset, but it does end up being T1 playing it better. Faker is there for the cover, and Closer comes in, trying to salvage the play, trying to get that kill on the Varus, but Guma is totally fine. He dies for it. T1 walk away very happy.
One thing that I wanted to talk about before all of that action broke out is the fact that GUMAYUSI is actually playing the on-hit variety of the Varus. It's not necessarily his bread and butter on this pick. But now he's in a great spot this game. Humbug not so much, as now he throws out the ulti onto Carrier. Chains of Corruption comes down. 3-man knock up there from Palu as the Equalizer is actually going to burn down Guma. He's not going to offer too much more, but Doran, he puts them in the circle, and now Morgan's just trying to barbecue T1. The curtains have been called. So much value here from the Jhin as Morgan continuing to Flame Spitter. And Carrier, with that steadfast presence, the flash forward, and Closer just wishes he still had the ultimate, but he doesn't! And so T1 will limp away with these health bars so extremely low.
Wasn't looking the best in the early laning phase, but Carrier has been so phenomenal in these last few moments, locking down Hype in that fight to save Guma, saving Faker in this moment. Massive knock-up from him in the fight as well to stop the follow-up.
Faker as well. Yep, Closer just got denied anything in that fight. I think as if that Yone manages to get a big ultimate, that is so good for Bro. Instead, it is T1 able to limp away, now with a bit of a gold advantage there as well as they take down the dragon, and obviously it's an Infernal. I mean, we knew this. Yeah. We knew this. Has to be the Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've seen that Bro have been able to navigate these fights relatively well. I think so much is going to be on Humbug and how much they can get summoner spells out of the damage dealers of T1.
Oh, there's a control ward here. Doran could just die if they commit to the dive.
Well, Closer's going to be backing away now, looking to turn it as the Glacial Prison comes in. Doran throws down the ulti and is going to be able to stay alive.
There's no minion wave, so they don't commit to the dive. Closer had an ult angle there, but was scared that the turret damage was going to be too much. They get Doran's ult, but that's it. Why they're putting a lot of pressure on him right now. This time there is a wave. This time he is going to be engaged on by Palu.
Yeah, he does get charmed up momentarily, but Carrier, he's just running on over. And Palu not going to be able to get out of there. Let's get stunned into the wall as now Faker taking some damage from Morgan, who says, nah, I guess I'll just run away from the Chaos Storm. Fair enough.
Fair enough indeed. Commitment of Carrier, their bottom side need to rush over there, maintain that control. They still have so many control wards. They're looking for an angle.
I think Hype is probably dead, ladies and gentlemen. As the Impale comes through, he had nothing that he could do about that situation whatsoever.
And there's just, I mean, there's a control ward there to the top side. They have 2 wards on the bottom side. T1 have all the information, so they're like, all right, well, you think you're safe because you have a turret, but you can't see where any of us are, and we know exactly that there's no one to save you. And they just commit in easily, and they don't even get to have that team fight that we were talking about because they killed the AD carry. They say, this is mine for free.
Yep, and that's going to be Feats of Strength there as well. So Feats of Warfare picked up, and immediately afterwards they lock down the upgraded shoes. As you can see there, they had 5 ready. Faker doesn't exactly have much ready for this one, though, as the ulti from Closer is decent. They get the knock-up on the Skarner, but they're too tanky. There's not enough damage here for Bro, and they're unable to get either of the kills.
Yeah, they really want that kill so badly. Faker's very low, doesn't have his flash anymore. And they're going to maybe have to settle for trying to siege this turret, but I think even that is a bridge too far here. They needed to get that kill onto Faker. He's got so much wave clear here. While he's here, killing this turret is going to be so challenging. Owner is just going to play bodyguard here, and Faker will clear another wave. Hype considering coming over as Morgan.
Yeah, Doran is just going to put him in the circle. He waits it out and then flashes anyway.
And gets the plant as well.
That's true. That is 2 petals for 1.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Teleport back in from Morgan as Faker gets back towards the top side. Has that health bar well and truly replenished.
Yeah, first brick less relevant since feats of strength are already over. So the race in itself not as important as it once was, but still, both of these teams want those turrets.
Yeah.
Faker did not have to teleport to defend it, whereas, as you mentioned, Morgan did.
Closer once again going for a big trade. Polu comes down towards the bottom side, finds Owner. As that Harpoon managing to thread the needle there was quite nice from Morgan. As Owner comes in, picks up Polu, takes down the turret. And now it's Faker that could be in trouble. Closer now just flashing for it. Winter's Wrath comes down. I don't think the GOAT's going to be escaping from that one. And meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Doran is melting. Morgan would have really loved to have his flash back available, but he does not because Doran put on that pressure before, so he will survive. That's Hype and Gumayusi just facing off in mid.
It would have felt way better for Bro if they got both of those kills while trading the turret, but getting one still feels pretty nice. They've evened out the gold here as Carrier once again playing on this brush. Hype is going to be the target. Guma has ult. Carrier does not have Hex Flash though, so a little bit tough to pull off. He's got the Blast Cone, however.
Yeah, I've seen this before, ladies and gentlemen, as Humbug is moving over, does find Carrier, who doesn't manage to quite stun him. A Steadfast Presence gives him the extra movement speed so he can make his way out. Morgan in an uncomfortable spot here as Faker's going to turn up, and with Owner there as well, Bash Bros back at it again, pushes him into the gravity field. That's gorgeous play here from the T1 jungler, and Morgan nowhere to go. Decent little knock up there from Polo, but I just don't think they've got the follow-up. As meanwhile, Carrier has discovered Humbug, and then he gets closed in on by the rest of T1. The level of coordination just so much higher here.
And T1 just have so much more vision. I want to take a look. I mean, actually the control ward, or the ward score, or vision score is the same basically between Carrier and Palu, but it just seems like T1 has invested so much more in control wards, and they always see more. They always have these angles.
He couldn't walk in case they were waiting, and then he would have just died. And so now it should be an outer turret being picked up here by T1 in mid lane. Carrier getting chased down by Closer, but I don't think he's too worried about it. And Owner is there This health bar on the Skarner is getting a little bit absurd. Does have his Heartsteel now completed. That's a whole bunch of stacks that he has as well. Humbug doing decently well on that front at the same time as see when that second item is going to be coming in.
Free crash, no commit to riding the Herald, don't need to. And Humbug wants to maybe try to get an exit ult here, but he's not going to be able to find one. And he's just busy clearing all of these wards. Look at there's so many wards for T1 this whole game around the objective they want, but now that they have full control, they've got wards on top, bottom, mid, you name it. Morgan can't be here.
Yeah, there's the flash heroic charge. That'll set up the kill onto Morgan. He does manage to get an equalizer down, but it's just onto the minion wave. You really didn't think that Bro were going to be fighting for that one, but T1, they're going to be fighting. Turret is going to fall down, though, and that means that Owner is not going to be tanking up any damage at all. And T1, they got exactly what they came here for and more.
When you start winning fights off of the enemy team trying to clear your vision, that's how you know you're really in control as Faker.
Yeah,
really not.
Charmed up here. Fair bit of damage as Humbug, he's coming in as well. But remember, it's just a withdrawal that they're playing for, and they're not even going to get that.
Not even a flash.
Yeah, Owner coming on over. And he's going to be able to make it out. Humbug still wanting to get this kill onto Faker.
Yeah, with the slow, they just can't commit further. Closer wants to stop this, and he won't even be successful at that.
Yeah, unbinds the soul. Let's find a bit of damage there, but otherwise not too much. As Humbug getting his health bar taken down lower and lower, but
that was a 1,000 gold lead has now turned into a 4,000 gold lead. The game was really close until it wasn't.
Yeah, and this is kind of being the woes of the Bros. I think it's because the Bro tax kind of stops. It has that initial... Closer is relatively close. We'll be able to get some money here from this turret going down as well. The epitome of the snowball effect.
And you can kill someone who's trying to clear a ward. We've seen it already. You know, if you're trying to actually do your due diligence and get that vision back, that puts you in danger. I mean, this is obviously League of Legends 101, but T1, they're well-versed, and they're going to do a Baron on spawn, practically.
Yep, that's definitely the T1 way, as Glacial Prison is just thrown out for fun, but they avoid the ultimate from Carrier. Doran throws his down, though. Equalizer is decent, as Doran is just dancing around the front of the fight, but still it's going okay here for Bro. The curtains have been called, and GUMAYUSI is taking a lot of damage. Faker tanking up a lot of these bullets as well, as Morgan finally gets a kill in this fight. They will trade it for two, though, as now Carrier going down low, and Closer is starting to pop off. The flash forward gets the knock up, and Faker avoids the ulti, but Doran's completely out of mana. Still, it has to be a pop back of this Yone, and T1 somehow managing to walk away, as Hype kind of wishing he didn't have to reload the entire time, and Doran just murders him.
Okay, Faker will finally go down there, I think to a red buff, but...
Yeah, Polo thinking about going aggressive, as Owner just being a human ward or a Skarner ward.
I mean, Owner just is the type of jungler who's not afraid of three people when he's Skarner, because he has the knowledge that they can't kill him, or they're going to have to commit so much to try to do so, then his teammates will have time to come over, and he's just like, I can be here. I'm threatening you, you're not threatening me.
Well, they're going to go for it. Morgan is in position, and that is going to be the ulti coming out from Owner. It's onto Humbug, though, and he's pretty tanky still. Taken down extraordinarily low. And Humbug will survive for the moment, but there's the flash forward from Carrier, gets the double knock-up. Polu gets the charm onto Owner, and then battle dances his way out as Bros continue to go for the disengage. And Humbug actually able to get back home. That is a big deal, getting that big health bar filled up once again.
Once the damage does from T1 finally were able to close the gap there, they just had to leave, and that's no kills really going over to T1, but it is going to guarantee their second Infernal Dragon and Infernal Soul point here, so in terms of what they got from it, it's definitely a success at the end of the day, even though it didn't look like it was one in the kill feed. It looked like Bro had the great escape, but that's only one aspect of a team fight. Is they're going to just send it to Baron. It looks like here, Morgan running over. They have a lot of damage with this Rumble, but T1 don't have Carrier here, interestingly, so maybe they can actually try to control this choke point. Carrier is rotating over.
Yeah, there's a potential window, but I think this is going to be a 50-50, and honestly, Owner is pretty good. Never mind, it's going down so low, it is just stolen. Highway robbery here by the Bros. If you don't pay your taxes, they're just going to steal it.
There you go. They're going to get the empowered recalls here and get out for free. Owner didn't have flash, and they actually caught T1 in a weird timing where Carrier was backed, and they actually didn't have really strong vision on the Baron. And the damage, even though they have a Jhin, I think maybe T1 miscalculated because of that, is really high on this Rumble, so they can actually quickly.
Polo, definitely the one that you want to get caught out because he has so much mobility. As Humbug finds the ulti onto Doran. There's the equalizer as well in the choke point. Still, Doran's able to do it, and in goes Ona once again. Somehow Polu finds everyone. Humbug stays alive, but the Rakan instantly murdered.
Yeah, Baron, they're going to take this red buff away from T1 and continue to pressure this top inner.
Yeah, there's the ulti straight on to Doran. Now goes Closer though, as Humbug looking to go aggressive as well. Ona moves in as the equalizer goes down and actually just destroys the Aurora. Once again, Ona is going to find Humbug though, as Closer finding a massive angle, gets on top of GUMAYUSI. He threw down the ulti, but it didn't land onto the Yone. Still, Guma will survive, and Morgan is barbecuing the entire team. There's the fourth shot from Hype as he takes down Carrier, and now the bros might be able to get some meaningful damage onto this inhibitor turret.
I can hear D-Gon from here. This team fighting comp is so difficult to execute, especially when you've got Stasis to deal with. You got Faker's TP coming in. They played it so well, and they're going to get more than that in. They're going to get this inhibitor. 30 seconds on Faker, and bro, looking for an angle to end here.
Oh no, Ona is just melting. Polu goes in, gets the knock-up. Still, Hype just doesn't quite have it, and Ona stays alive, able to actually get the kill onto Closer because he tanked the turret for about 6 million years.
Morgan's still going to get some value here in the mid lane. They're not going to find the end they were looking for. I think if they kill Owner or Guma there, they get it. As TP comes through from Doran. Morgan may die here. He doesn't get the turret either.
Yeah, Morgan is going to come in. There's the flash out from Morgan, but Doran still going to be able to find him. Slows him down momentarily here, but the harpoons land pretty well. Still Carrier walks so extraordinarily fast. Finally, that scrap shield does come in, and Doran just blows him up. The equalizer is going to be able to get some popcorn chicken, so I guess there's that. As Polu able to land a Q onto Ona here, but not too much going to come of that. And so now Morgan down for 45 seconds. T1 with all the control back.
They should be able to get this turret, and they have so much vision on the bottom side of the map for this dragon. The important thing is that Faker doesn't have to. Now we're setting up the dragon here. The vision has been cleared. Yeah, someone has to deal with those top minions eventually, but Faker pushed out 2 waves.
This is actually, bro, with some control of a dragon pit for the very first time this game. Even when they took the Baron, they didn't manage to do that as equalizer to start the fight off as GUMAYUSI throws down the ulti, but he's immediately, never mind! He lives!
Okay, but he's basically dead. He's so low, he does not get hit by that final shot, but that should be enough here to start the dragon off for Bro. Guma has to go back. He has to go back to full health, and someone is still going to have to deal with that top wave. Now, this is still just the second dragon here for Bro, so it's not a massive win, but it is a denial of soul here for T1.
But still, vision being cleared, and I think if Bro actually have the setup, right? If they're able to be the ones that strike first, they are so incredibly scary, especially in these choke points that Morgan can really capitalize on.
I mean, Hype does have 4 items, has his IE, but still not the best AD carry for rushing a Baron down. I think they're going to have to do more to T1 to actually start this realistically, or they're just going to have to force a turn. So I don't think they can ever burn this before T1 get in. It's just not going to happen. Hype holding the choke here, control wards down. T1 trying to find a straggler who's trying to get a little bit too far deep in that choke point. And the inhibitor is respawning soon. That's one thing that Bro still has, but isn't going to have for much longer. Faker's done a great job of cleaning up the wave.
The reset did come through there from Carrier, so he's not going to be here with the Keeper's Verdict. Can they keep Ona out of the pit, though? That's going to be the question as they avoid a lot of Doran's damage, and that is significant. Because if he lands a combo, then someone is half dead. That's just kind of how it goes. Speaking of half dead, Carrier is going to have to walk out of that one, unable to throw his buckler around all that effectively, but still the Baron
T1 lost
continues.
That inner turret as well in the meantime. So something small, but still significant. Morgan, really good positioning here to control this choke.
Oh, he has an itchy trigger finger. You can feel it.
Oh, you
wants to equalize T1 as they're making their way in. Keeper's Verdict is going to get them off the Baron, and now T1, they're going to say thanks for the leash. Equalizer finally going to go down as there's a Chains of Corruption. Everything coming out here. Humbug lands a decent ulti, but Carrier's already dead. Still, it's T1 that take down the Baron. Can they keep themselves alive, though? That's the big question. Hype is just trying to walk it off as the bullets stream in. They know the health bar is so incredibly low here as the flash out. Hype stays alive, and he may have just baited T1 into losing everything. Finally Faker will find it, but is it actually going to be enough?
Closer's
Because I
gonna
think
end the
Owner is just dead, and Closer, like you say, will re-kill this inhibitor and look to just take T1 out.
Oh man, bro, outplaying T1 on a Baron, and that is going to be them taking the upset win here in game 1.
The Baron for Nexus trade, ladies and gentlemen. A tale as old as time. Is Carrier going to try his very best to deny the end of the game? And he has baited Bro for a few moments still. That's going to be enough damage. Morgan and Closer get it done, and the Bros strike first.